Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Access Involvement. I'm your host, Billy Ferris, and in each week, I will be joined by a different member of student involvement to get to know them and what they do a little bit better. Today, I am joined by Common Marketing Specialist, Amy Shugart. Amy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Billy. How are you?
I'm doing good. Is this the first podcast you've ever been on?
Very first. I'm very nervous.
This is your first time, so you know what? It's going to be the best time no matter what.
I love that. Yes.
Pessimist side could also be the worst time no matter what.
Stop it.
It's going to be the best. Though.
It's going to be the best.
It's going to be the best.
We're going to thrive in this moment.
And to do that, we're going to break the ice a little bit.
Okay.
We are going to play a game called Pop Quiz.
Woohoo.
Every student's worst nightmare, but you know what? When there's no grades, it's no problem. So I'm going to ask you 7 questions.
Okay.
You're going to give me whatever answer you want. I might answer a few too, because why not? And then we're going to get going.
Perfect.
So are you ready for your pop quiz?
I think so.
Okay. Number 1, if you had a time machine, where would you go?
Great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like when I ask great questions.
Yeah, first one, right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate.
I don't know if it's like a specific, like I can't say like this date in this like year, but I've always been very intrigued with the 20s, and I think it's mainly because of the fashion. And so I can't tell you like when in the 1920s I want to go to, but I want to go to the 20s, and I kind of want to go to like a Gatsby party. So I don't care. You find me the location and the great party. I want to go there in the best 20s fashion.
You know what's weird is like a couple like decades from now, this is the 20s.
Stop it.
I will not stop it. I'm the host of this show.
That is so weird to think about.
Isn't it? Thought about as you said, I want to go to the 20s. It's like, ooh, we are in the 20s. So just bring the fashion back and time travel.
It's a great theme for a party.
It is. I would go one day in the future.
Really?
I would memorize everything that happens, and then I would just convince people that I have like psychic abilities the next day.
Wow.
It would be a waste of time traveling, but a great prank.
You know, if you're dedicated to it, I'm
It'd be a lot of fun.
fully behind you. It's kind of like Back to the Future with the almanac.
Yeah. Number 2.
Okay.
What's your favorite childhood TV show?
Oh my gosh, like what part of childhood?
There are no rules to pop quiz.
Okay, I love that. So I grew up with 2 older brothers, so I feel like my favorite show when I couldn't control the TV was Ninja Turtles.
Okay. Did you have a favorite Ninja Turtle?
Michelangelo, just because of his name, and he was orange. He was orange, right?
Michelangelo was orange.
That's my favorite color. So he was my favorite, but my brothers are older than me, and eventually they did leave the house, and I had control of the TV. Mm-hmm. And probably in middle school is when we got like all the channels, like when your parents bought more than just basic cable. And then it was Disney Channel, and I'm going to seem like every other girl my age. Lizzie McGuire was in Mood.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right. Number 3, what's your biggest pet peeve?
In work or in personal life?
There are no rules to pop quiz.
Stop it.
I feel like there's a good chance that I'm going to be part of the answer if it's for work, so I'm going to say personal life.
Okay. In personal life, biggest pet peeve. I don't know if I have one. That's a lie. I do have one. I totally have one.
Okay.
You go first, though.
No, if you're ready, you go.
No, I have not.
Okay. Okay. So if I have a lot of them.
Okay, great.
Number 1, if you're at a stoplight and it turns green and the car in front of you doesn't go.
But like, how
That's
long do
one.
you wait? Are you that person like immediately
A
that
good
honks?
1 to 2 seconds. I won't immediately honk. I was born in Boston. We like the horn on the car in Boston.
I mean, I'm from Atlanta.
I won't
feel
honk.
that.
Here's the thing. I will look, and if their head is down, it means they're looking at their phone and they don't see the light. I will give like a tap. But that's why I think there should be like 3 different horn options in a car.
Ooh.
One is the polite, like, hey, pay attention, please. And then one would be like, what are you doing? And then the third one would be like, you're about to hit me. Stop.
I like that.
$1 million idea.
You heard it here, folks. First.
Shark Tank, come on the show. That's probably my biggest pet peeve.
That's great. That was such a good one. How did you follow that up? Because all the things that come to my mind right now are like people that chew with their mouth open, or which I mean like is really gross.
And you have to be a whole meal at that
It's
point.
a whole meal. Like when you're sitting across
We
from
just
them.
came from an office lunch and we sat across from each other. Is this about me?
No.
Okay, that's good.
Did I do it?
No.
Because that's also my biggest fear is that like
Yeah.
I do that. Because
Well, they say the things that bother you the most about people are the things that you do yourself.
shoot, do I do that? You sat across from me. Okay, great.
No.
Okay, we're going to go with that one.
I probably would have said something.
Great. I love that.
Good.
I'm glad we are there in our friendship.
Yes, we are. Number 4. If you could be the best in the world, unquestionably at one thing, like everyone knows like you are the best at this, what would it be?
I'm going to go like almost to the extreme. Because I loved sports growing up. And I always wanted to go to the Olympics. I feel like when you go to the Olympics and you win a gold medal, you are the best in that field. But I'm not going to go with something that I actually did growing up. I'm going to go with something that now, as an adult, I'm still kind of embarrassed that I can't do. I never learned how to do a cartwheel. And so I want to be the best in gymnastics because they can do cartwheels and all other kinds of fun things like flips and stuff. So I want to be a gold medalist in gymnastics.
This is a video podcast. We do have just enough space for regulation cartwheel, I think.
No, I can't
don't.
do
It's
one.
fine. No, can't shouldn't be in your vocabulary. It should, though, sometimes.
Okay, great.
So mine would be persuasion. I want to be the best in the world at persuading people. I would use it for good, not for evil.
Are you sure about that?
No.
Okay.
I would use it for good. I would use
Okay,
that to
great.
help people.
I love that.
Yeah.
Superhero in your own.
I would. Our producer over here is shaking his head saying, no, you wouldn't. I think I would.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
You can do that.
That makes one person. Number 5. Mornings or nights and why?
Neither.
I
I thrive in the middle of the day.
I know I said there were no rules to podcast. So neither. You want the middle of the day?
I thrive in the middle of the day. This is the thing. I've never been a morning person ever. But in my younger life, I was definitely a night owl. I now have a 3-year-old.
And his name is?
Oliver.
Oliver. Hello, Oliver, if you're watching this.
Oh, he's going to love that.
Yeah. We'll just give a little wave to Oliver.
If I had to pick, would still much rather stay up at night. So night.
Okay. I've become a morning and a night person. Like I wake up early.
I thought there were no rules. How can you have both? I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay, this is how it works. This is my podcast. I ask questions. It's kind of the deal. Okay. But I can't go to sleep early and I can't sleep in at this point. So
Okay.
I'm just both, and I don't know what that means. Number 6. What was the first job you ever had?
First job ever. First.
Like not like my parents paid me to take the trash out, but like your first actual like paycheck job.
Okay, love that. First job ever. I worked at an ice cream place in high school. It was called Shakes. It was frozen custard. It was awesome. I loved it. But I think my second job is the most interesting job.
What's that?
It gave me a great skill. I worked gift wrap at a gift and collectible store for 3 Christmases, but I only worked in gift wrap. In the summer, you don't like gift wrap a lot, shockingly, but they had a conjoining part of the store that was solely Christmas. And so I spent my summer like tagging ornaments for the next year, but I am a mean gift wrapper and I really enjoy it. It's therapeutic. So that's probably like my hidden talent is my ability to measure out wrapping paper and use it precisely.
I like that I asked what was the first job you ever had, and you have to have said, that's my hidden talent. Just really pushing the no rules to this. Number 7 is the last in our pop quiz. What class in college was the favorite one you ever took?
So I was an art major, and so I took a variety of different classes, but my favorite would have to be screen printing. So I have like a focus in printmaking, but screen printing was very cool because we did a lot of really interesting things. So it was just a different side to printmaking.
Okay.
And actually, like, I don't know, printing shirts and like actual like textile materials that you can then go around and sell. Not that like art in general, like you learned a lot of skills that you could do that, but I don't know, it just felt very commercial and so like almost like businessy. I was like, I'm an art major, but like I can do this in a business.
I can apply this.
Exactly.
Okay. That's it for pop quiz.
Did I pass?
Yeah, you passed.
Yay.
You answered all questions, and I said there were no grades, so participation check.
Love it. Here for it.
Yep. So our next segment is called Let's Get Personal. And that is where we talk about you and your path to where you are now. We're going to talk about like your job and your role here a little bit later in Let's Get Professional, but we're going to start with Let's Get Personal.
Perfect.
So future students, past students, current students can get to know you a little bit better.
Okay, great.
So let's start with the beginning. Where are you from?
I am from Northeast Atlanta, so Forsyth County, Georgia, for my Georgia people. Closer to Johns Creek than Cumming, though, so South Forsyth County.
That area is just getting so much bigger than it used to be.
It has just boomed. I go back now, and I don't recognize corners because they have just developed.
People say the same thing that come back to Auburn now, too. Like friends that come back to Auburn who have been gone for a while, like, wow, there's so much new here. But it looks so much nicer, I think, than it used to.
I would agree with that.
I remember one professor in college said, never complain about construction in or around a college campus because it means there's money.
Exactly.
He said there's never construction, that might be a problem.
The one thing that bothers me is the amount of apartment complexes that went downtown, because I felt like downtown used to be so cute and everything was like single story, and now it's like, depending on where you are, you kind of feel in a metropolis area. Like you don't necessarily feel Auburn because you're in between two 7-story apartment complexes, which that was never a thing.
That's true. I think if you ever went to the real metropolis, which we can all agree that's a real place, I think you're in for a surprise of how big that is.
I mean, yes.
People got to live somewhere.
True.
But, and I think like those are for college students. Like those apartment complexes are for college students. What was it like growing up? And we got pretty off track. What was it like growing up in Northeast Atlanta?
Yeah. So a lot of traffic. It takes 45 minutes to get anywhere, which, probably isn't a bad thing. It made me always on time because like you had to plan for traffic. But it was fun. I mean, it was a suburban area. But I mean, the more north you went in Forsyth County, the more like country you got. And so did a lot of outdoor activities out there, but also got to be 45 minutes away from Atlanta with no traffic. And so you got to do like city things. So it was very cool. You got like, in the words of Hannah Montana, the best of both worlds.
In the words of Hannah Montana, the best.
You got to quote her.
Do you have to?
No, you don't. It was there and I took it.
Hey, credit to you.
Thanks.
So as young Amy is growing up in Atlanta, 45 minutes from Atlanta, did you want to go into common marketing related things, or was there something else you wanted to be when you were growing up?
That was definitely not it. I mean, as like a kid, you see your parents do jobs. And so I think the only viewpoint, my dad was in real estate and my mom was a teacher. And so that was kind of like where I stopped was there. But I think the thing I wanted to be the most was an interior designer. That's why I came into college as a major, but I never actually took a class in it. I changed it at orientation. But then I went into business and marketing education for a year. And so now, like, looking back and be like, oh, I was in business and marketing education. Like, I wanted to teach students how to do that, which is kind of what I do now. It's kind of cool. So, in a way, I did, but not really knowing it.
You just didn't know at the time what that entailed.
Exactly.
That's cool. And you got to do some of the interior designing because you redid your house. You like full on like sledgehammer through the walls.
Oh, yeah. Down to the bones. Moved walls, moved stairs. It was awesome.
I'm very upset I didn't know you at the time because my lifelong dream is to take a sledgehammer to a wall and like renovate a house.
I had plenty for you to go through.
Yeah. Maybe I could just come over and do that anyway.
Hard pass.
Okay. I have a new pet peeve. So I know the answer to this, but many people watching might not. Where did you go to college?
I went to Auburn University.
You went to Auburn
War
University.
Eagle.
Wow. What made you choose Auburn? Because in Atlanta, there's the Hope Scholarship. There's so many places in Georgia to go, but I'm also from the Atlanta area, and I also chose Auburn. So curious, like, what made you choose to come here?
The truth? It was the only out-of-state college my mom would let me go to.
Why is that?
My brother went here.
So she knew it was already a good place to come to.
Yeah. So, but this is the fun part. Like, I wanted to go to Florida. She went to Florida, and she basically told me it was too far away, and I couldn't go because it was like Gainesville from Northeast Atlanta. I mean, it's about 6.5 hours. As a 17-year-old kid looking at colleges, I was like, oh, I'm going out of state. That's going to be so far away. It's 2 hours. If I would have gone to like Valdosta, that's like 4.5. Like, if I was going based off distance, I would have stayed in state. But, me not looking into that and Googling anything. But, yeah, I went to Auburn. I loved it. And now I live here full time. So.
Be a heck of a commute if you didn't.
wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I chose for the involvement opportunities. Is why I came
Really?
to Auburn. I came for student media. My high school had a great broadcasting program.
That's
and
amazing.
I was having trouble finding places that would let me get involved from the beginning of my freshman year. So I found Auburn. And I'm sure looking back, my parents were probably like, did it have to be somewhere out of state? But they did. They let me come here. And it was because I could do things like this.
That's
from
amazing.
the beginning of my freshman year. Did not think I'd still be here doing it. So that just kind of worked out in a good way. But the fact that you could get involved right away is why I came here.
That's fantastic.
Which leads me to my next question. Were you an involved student? You work in student involvement now.
I do work in student involvement now. I was a little bit. So I was in a social sorority, which I really enjoyed. I held, I wanted to say like multiple positions. That's not true. I did one. I was the intramural chair. So, but then I was also in an organization that's still on campus. It's called Silver Wings, and it is the official hosts and hostesses of the Air Force RTC program. So it was very cool. I got involved in that my sophomore year and held 2 different offices in that. So I was an activities chair. I got to plan a bunch of fundraisers and philanthropic activities for the community. And then I was also, it's a nationwide org. And so we had regions. I was the Region 5 vice president my senior year, which was really fun. Oh, and then the coolest one of all, they're all cool. But I was in SGA cabinet my senior year as a director of OBBY.
Oh, nice. And I know we'll get into later, you still work with OBBY.
I still work with OBBY, and it is fantastic.
Nice. Everyone loves OBBY. Who doesn't love OBBY?
I can name a couple, unfortunately, but who really doesn't?
He's a 10-time national champion. Come on.
He is a 10-time national champion.
So that's...
War equal to that.
Who doesn't love a 10-time champion? I do.
I do too.
Looking back now, if you knew now, or if you knew then what you know now, what advice would you give college Amy? If you went back and you could time travel, we're linking it all back together. If you could time travel to the first day of your freshman year of college, what advice would you give your college self right now? Because I think there are a lot of students who hopefully maybe will see this episode and maybe it's advice they could use too.
Very, very cool. I think 2 things. One, before Amy on the first day of class, I never lived on campus. I really wish I would have lived on campus because you would meet a whole lot of people. And so I think that's my first one. I had 2 opportunities. I didn't do either. Like I didn't live in the dorms freshman year at Camp War Eagle. I froze and someone told me that you can't change the temperature in the dorms. I was like, I'm not going to be able to live like that. Yeah. So...
That's not true.
Exactly. Believing things that people tell you. So I didn't live in the dorms. I wish I would have done that. And then I didn't live on the sorority hall my sophomore year, which I wish I would have done. But then the thing, like probably first day, Amy, is get involved in more things. I loved what I was involved in, but now knowing all the different organizations that are on campus, I wish I would have done like 1 or 2 more.
Good advice. So, get involved.
Yeah, get involved.
Get involved. What are you doing? Get involved.
Love it.
Yeah. So you graduate from Auburn, right? Yeah, you graduate from Auburn. I've seen the degree in your office. That's why I made
there, and I feel like if I didn't graduate from Auburn, Auburn should have said something like they now employ me. Like they should know. If anyone should know, it would be Auburn.
It would be Auburn. But you also know Photoshop. So, but I've seen the degree in your office.
It's a real
degree. You graduated from Auburn, which is a big accomplishment. It's usually the biggest accomplishment in someone's life at that time.
I have the tiny diploma in my wallet.
Nice. I do not know where that one is.
Oh, it went immediately into my wallet.
I think I lost that one. Someone else is showing that somewhere, maybe. I don't know. I don't know why they would.
The greatest part is it's actually yours. Like my name's on it.
Yeah.
I think
it's a cool thing. That's a cool thing. But you graduate.
I did.
Where do you go?
I went to Orlando. I ran away, if you will. Not really. I joke and say that. I went and worked for the Walt Disney Company. So I was a Disney College Program intern right out of school, and I loved it. There was a time where, like, before I was married and, like, if I didn't know what I was going to do, I was just going to move back down to Orlando and work for the Disney Company and, work my way up through customer service that way.
Find all the hidden Mickey Mouses and all that stuff.
There's a lot. There's like a whole book.
It's a whole book.
A whole book.
So what's something away from work that you like to spend your time doing? This is just a complete left turn, but
left turn. I love my family, and I love spending time with them. So when not working, I'm with the 3-year-old Oliver and my husband Justin and our 90-pound golden retriever who thinks he's a lap dog. And you can typically find us outside at a park or just playing. So, but then like being with our families in general, whether that's in Atlanta or Fairhope, where my husband's from, if you can't find us, we are typically with family.
Okay. And then last question, and let's get personal because we're kind of transitioning more to the professional side here. Yeah. You're in this common marketing role with student involvement, and it's been how many months?
Oh, gosh.
It was the spring. So we're recording this. If you're watching this late, how dare you? But if you're watching this late, it's the middle of May.
Yes.
And you started the spring semester.
Yeah, I started in January, mid-January. So
I'm no math major, but I think that's about 5 months.
Give or take.
Yeah, give or take. So how's this been?
I love it.
Is this the highlight so far?
This is the highlight.
I feel like this is the highlight.
This is amazing. I love my job, and being able to say I love my job and is a blessing. I love the people I work with. I love the students I work with. And so when you can come in and just hang out and do things you love to do with people you really enjoy being around, it's a good day.
Yeah, when you can wake up and not be like sad to go to work.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can wake up and happy to go to work because it's good people, fun job. Yeah, that's nice.
What's the saying? If
you like what you do for a living, you don't work a day in your life.
Exactly.
If that's the one you were thinking of.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so I think we end Let's Get Personal on that. And we're going to take a break and play a game because we're in college right now. And we're at the midway point in the show. So that means midterms.
Oh, gosh.
So these are harder than the icebreaker
Oh,
questions.
no.
What I have done is I have written 10 trivia questions specifically for you, mostly specifically for you. Now, I have made these hard on purpose, so don't feel bad if you don't get a lot right.
I'm not going to get any of these.
I feel like, you know what?
Pure pressure.
If no one else does, I believe in you. But
Thank you.
You're welcome. But, however,
producer.
Our producer over here is
sending good vibes my way.
putting the Family Feud X up, so I like that. I like that. So what I'm going to do is each week, and I think what he's trying to do is scout, and it's not going to work because it's going to be different questions for everybody. So he's not going to get ahead here. I'm going to keep standings of everyone, and then we're going to see who can kind of claim the prize of like top office trivia champion.
I love that. That's very cool.
And I think that'll be fun.
Then I would just like to be in the running for something, just middle of the pack. That's where I want to be.
Just not at the bottom.
Yeah. So since I'm the first one, I need you to like base everything else off of how I did.
Well, you see, the good thing is though, if no one gets any question right, I can claim to be the champion. Because no one gets anything right.
I don't like that rule, but okay.
But I don't think that's going to happen because I think you're going to get several questions
Perfect.
right.
Okay, great.
I did tailor them to your interests for the most part.
See, that's what makes me super scared. I'm like, if I'm interested in them and I'm going to get them wrong.
Well, we'll see.
It's the pressure.
But this is something, though, this is just trivia. So, like, if you get them wrong.
I'm aiming for 1.
You're aiming for 1 out of 10.
Why not?
Why not?
That would.
But
anything above that would be great. And if I get enough.
You're setting the bar for the whole office right now with the first one. So again, optimist, pessimist. Optimist, you're in first place no matter what. Pessimist, you're in last place no matter what. I've heard it both ways.
I'm in first place right now until the next episode.
That is true.
We're going to go with that.
Okay. Are you ready for your midterms?
I think so.
You mentioned working with the OBBY program.
I do.
What year was OBBY created? Not the physical mascot. The first time OBBY was on the football field. What year was OBBY created and made his first appearance in any year, in any form?
You mean when he graced the cover by Phil Neal?
Yes.
I don't know. I can tell you the year that OBBY in physical form first graced campus.
You
that was
can tell me
1979.
But it's not the question.
I know.
But that was 1979. She's right
math?
about that. You can do math if
I
you
feel
want.
It's not going to help me.
But you got to put your phone down because I don't know
no,
what
it's
you're
math.
Googling.
No, I'm not. I'll show you. So,
I'll have a producer check that out. Check her screen.
1958.
You were really close.
What is it?
1959.
So this is so I want to show this. So I said it was 20 years, but I thought I was off by 1. So technically, you be the judge. I do have 1959. The producer is saying yes.
Nope.
Oh, come on.
I said 1958. So 0 for 1. That's okay.
You know
that
what?
was close though.
You know what makes me feel good? I kind of know it though.
It's true, but here's the thing. If you can give me the month, I will give you the credit.
Of
of 1959? What month? If you can give me the
It
month.
wasn't the first one.
Process of elimination. 11 to go.
October.
Yep. October 3rd, and you have 1 point. I'm gonna ask my producer to keep a tally of how many. Okay, so that's
my
one.
Gosh, I love that.
Okay.
Yay!
Although I could see if like you are in first and someone else is one behind, this could be a protest situation. Okay,
I'm
number
just
2.
saying.
Which
So
of these
tempted.
people did not attend Auburn University?
Oh gosh.
Apple CEO Tim Cook, astronaut Jim Voss, author of To Kill a Mockingbird Harper Lee, or Academy Award winner Octavia Spencer?
Octavia did. Tim Cook did. I know we have lots of astronauts. Oh, this is the fun part, right? I think I missed the To Kill a Mockingbird stage of I didn't grow up in Alabama. I feel like that's a big thing in Alabama. You learn about that book and things of that nature.
It's a great book. And it's a good movie.
It was on Broadway too.
Didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I want to say because I don't know who the astronaut is and I feel really bad that I'm going to say that they did go to Auburn. So I'm going to say
Harper Lee is correct. Yes. Harper Lee went to the other university in Alabama.
The things you learn.
Harper Lee went to the University of Alabama. Everyone else, Auburn alum.
Okay.
Number 3. You used to work in the College of Liberal Arts.
I did.
I did some background research. How many academic programs does the College of Liberal Arts have? Not majors, academic programs.
I have absolutely
Calculator's not going to help you this time.
no idea.
Take a wild guess.
Not majors, academic programs. Can you give me some background on what an academic program would be without, you can use a different college?
Judges? No, I can't. No clarifications.
Midterms are the worst. Academic programs.
Midterms are meant to test you, and that's what I'm doing.
I mean, it's the second or third largest college.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like a lot. But how many is too many? 32.
65.
What? Can you now clarify what that?
I'll tell you later. We're going to move on.
Okay, great.
Number 4. You like the show Friends.
I do like the show.
You like the show Friends. One of the 6 main characters auditioned for a different character than they ended up playing. Can you get the name of the real person or their character name? Who auditioned for a role different from the one they ended up playing?
Phoebe. She didn't initially audition for Phoebe.
It was Courtney Cox.
What? Did she try to...
She auditioned for Rachel.
She did already.
And they ended up basing Monica slightly around Courtney Cox.
Oh. But
Courtney Cox also from the state of Alabama.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm thinking that Lisa Kudrow was about to quit acting and then she landed Friends. I think that's the random fun fact I know about her.
I do know that Courtney Cox auditioned for Rachel. That would be weird.
That would be weird.
Wouldn't that be weird? Number 5. This one's random.
Okay.
But I love it. What is the national animal of Scotland? In fact, I'm going to give you 2 points if you get this right. Because it is out of nowhere. Literally out of nowhere. And yes, that's a hint.
A wombat.
A unicorn.
What?
The national animal of Scotland is a unicorn, and that is too random not to use in trivia.
But they're not even real.
I thought for a second you were going to say, those aren't native to Scotland. You would be right, but not all the way right. Number 6. What percentage of all amateur photographs taken in the United States every year are taken in Disney World? I'm going to give you multiple choice.
Perfect.
So the percentage of amateur photographs taken in the United States every year, this percentage of those photographs happen in Disney World.
Okay.
2%, 4%, 7%, or 11%?
11.
It's 4%.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
It's just because I got it wrong. A lot of people take pictures at Disney.
4% of all pictures?
Yeah, I mean, that's a
pictures.
lot. I was just thinking it would be absolutely insane.
I really wish we could find what that was for Auburn's campus.
That'd be great to know.
I'm probably less than a percentage, but it'd be fun to know what the percentage is.
It would be fun to know. Amateur photography, so just people.
Not professional
Yeah,
photography, but just you go with your phone and,
I mean, just
I don't know
seeing
why I
the amount
need to
of.
mime taking a picture for people as
Yeah.
if no one knew what a picture is.
I just feel like people in general just taking pictures. Like a lot of pictures happen in Disney. A lot.
Yep.
Everyone has their phone out all the time.
Some would say about 4% of pictures happen at Disney World. Number 7, you also like the show How I Met Your Mother.
I do.
What celebrity joins Marshall on his search for the best burger in New York? There's a celebrity that is in that episode that also thinks this is the best burger in New York and can't find it, and he joins the hunt for the burger with Marshall.
I don't know. So this is ready. I love How I Met Your Mother. I've only watched it through beginning to end once, but I do watch anytime it's on TV. I watch it. No multiple choice for this one.
No multiple choice for this one.
Bob Saget.
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
That was a hint. It's Regis Philbin.
I don't remember that.
I don't know what I was going to do if you picked up on that hint. It was like, no, my actual answer is Regis Philbin. I'm like, oh, I kind of gave her the answer. But you didn't, so that works out.
Well, I went Bob Saget because he's the voice of...
That would have been clever.
So
It would
I
have
was
been clever to have him guess.
Well, they're very clever. So, like, a lot
true.
of things were very clever. So I feel like...
Clever right up until the end, that show. We'll get into that later. We probably won't get into that later. Number 8. What is older, cell phones or the first Iron Bowl in Jordan-Hare Stadium?
Cell phones.
Correct. You want to venture a guess?
I don't know when it was.
That goes to 3 for correct answers, right?
I don't... Because I know it used to be played on, like, a common ground. It was in Birmingham, wasn't it?
It was.
But I don't know. I want to say, like, the 70s.
It's 1989 was the first Iron Bowl in Jordan-Hare Stadium.
I should know that.
And now you do.
Well, at least I got it right, though.
You did. Cell phones, 1973. I was surprised by that. I thought that was going to be like the 90s. Nope.
You got to think, like, what are they counting? Like, the car phones that were in your car? That's a cell phone, technically.
True. Number 9. Who was the first football coach in Auburn history?
Ever?
Ever.
I have absolutely no idea.
Do you want to venture a guess?
No. I will... The first...
I will give a hint. It is a name that is still talked about.
Petrie Hall. But I don't know the first name.
Yep. George Petrie.
I was like, I had to think.
Yep.
I was like, it's something's named after it. And it's the smallest little building. I feel like it should be...
It's right by the football field.
It is.
I mean, that wasn't the football field at the time, so that's
When
a
I was in
coincidence,
school, Petrie Hall was geology. That's where I had my geology lab.
but nice.
But now I think athletics is back in that building,
I think you're right.
which I like.
Last question.
Okay.
What year was Auburn University founded?
I should know this.
A score of 4, trying to get to 5.
Oh, I should know this. 1856.
Correct.
Shut up.
No.
Sorry, I'm
You
really
shut
excited.
up. 1856 is correct. Is it over there? You looked over there. Is it,
No,
like, on the scene?
I'm
Okay.
looking right here. I don't know who this
But
is.
that's why we do like the first 56. That's why, it comes from all that stuff.
Because we've been talking about the first 56 in marketing meetings, I feel like it's ingrained in the back of my brain. Plus, just like thinking about like memorabilia and like T-shirts that you see around campus.
You know what? Bonus information
Is
here.
it in here?
Tell people, I checked before. Tell people about the first 56.
The first 56?
Yeah, while we're here, that wasn't scripted, but since, we're in student involvement, first 56 is a big thing coming up. So
yeah, absolutely.
Talk about
So it is kind of in partnership with Welcome Week, and we are new to owning it. So it used to live in health promotion and wellness. But First 56 is geared towards the first 56 days of school and putting on events and programs that help students get involved. And I wish I had the Plainsman article ad that I created in front of me because I'm forgetting words. But,
That's okay.
Basically it just helps them get, it's First 56. It's around 8 weeks. I mean, it helps set the groundwork of how you're going to continue out through college and that, whether it's full college career or just that specific year.
So if you're new to campus in the fall, or even if you're not new to campus, check out the first 56.
Yeah.
Get your year started on the right track. Plenty of opportunities to get involved.
Yep.
Come on down.
Yeah, we'll have Welcome Week first, and then First 56 kicks off the day before classes starts, and then we'll run through, I think, up until the Georgia game. So a bunch of different events, activities, and things to get involved with.
All right, so that's it for midterms.
I did way better than
You
I
got
thought.
5 out of 10. You were aiming for middle of the pack. That is literal middle of the pack.
I love that.
So
I was also said that I'd be happy with 1. So the fact that it was 5.
Although I still have to go back to that first question. We'll see. I don't know.
We're counting it. Thank you. I got the month. You said that.
Let's not forget whose show this is. So moving, it's 5 for now. Although someone else gets 5 and they're in first place, there may be paperwork to file.
We can talk about it later.
We'll talk about it. Okay, that sounds bad for me. Anyway, let's move on to let's get professional. We talked about your kind of early life and how you got here. Now let's talk about while you're here.
Okay.
What do you do? So as a common marketing specialist, you're in kind of a unique position to work with all of the groups within student involvement. So how's it been getting to know all the different organizations and what they do and what their different needs are?
I love it. It's so fun. I am very weird. I like meetings because I like learning new things, and I like talking about things that other people are really passionate about. I'm passionate about helping people get their message out there, but when people get to talk about their programs, it makes me excited. So learning about all the different facets and things that everybody does is really fun because it also shows us what we have for our students and the ability for them to get involved in literally anything. And that's fun. And just community and things of that nature, I enjoy. So
cool. What's been the biggest surprise or most unexpected part of the job so far?
Every day is very different. I think I've been in jobs that have been very you do the same thing repetitively over and over and over again. And so to come into a job where every day is different and I get to work with different groups who have very different backgrounds is just fun.
Who is your favorite coworker?
I'm not
that works downstairs with student media and is in. I'm just kidding. No,
if you continue to get more specific, I will answer.
You can name it for each person. Yeah. Number.
You're like, and works with the plainsmen.
Number 3 for questions here. What is your favorite part of the job?
My favorite part of the job? I really love the fact that I just get to be creative all day, every day. Just as a creative individual, to be able to use that in my job is awesome.
What's been more challenging than you expected it to be? And I just want to be clear, challenging doesn't necessarily mean bad. I think a lot of times we equate challenging with bad thing. But like something I always work with students on is like just because it's challenging doesn't mean you're talking negatively about it. So like, but what's something that's been more challenging than you maybe anticipated?
I think because I was a student here, I anticipated knowing more about different organizations coming into it and being able to just like jump in. But then realizing either how much they've changed or things like that I don't know as much as I thought I knew. So I think the learning curve. I mean, I jumped in the middle of spring semester and you're drinking from a fire hose from the beginning. And just being able to maintain the level of designs and just, customer service really for our groups that was there before. I think that's been the most challenging because I don't want to let anybody down. So I just want to be able to continue the greatness that has come before me, if you will.
So in some ways, like summer is the time you can finally start to kind of catch your breath and reset a little bit. Not that there's nothing to do, but you can kind of catch your breath and think maybe it's not quite as time sensitive. So now you can like really take what you learned in the spring and think like, how are we going to move forward?
Well, yeah, now it's really cool because I'm actually getting to learn about these groups because I'm putting together all their manuals. So I'm learning about the organizations and how they started and different aspects of it because I'm proofreading and making designs and things of that nature. And you do get to like sit down and just prep a little bit more. And get ready for the fall and knowing that the fall is going to come real quick.
One way or another.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yep. So the summer always starts off where it feels kind of slow because the students are gone. Then all of a sudden you wake up and it's August.
Exactly.
And you don't know how you got there.
Yep.
Time travel. All the way back to the beginning.
Boom.
There's the theme of the show. As you kind of learn what every group does and you've had a chance to do that and you're working on their handbooks, you're seeing kind of past and present what their common marketing has looked like.
Yeah.
What their strategies for branding has looked like. What is your overall philosophy toward common marketing and what groups should be doing? And that's a big question. So if you want to answer like part of that, you're welcome to.
I wouldn't say it's like my whole philosophy, but when groups realize that the marketing of their organization shouldn't just live with their marketing person, I think that's when they really start to take off. Because, yes, that person is there to help promote and get the word out. But when your members, whether it's your president or just a member that's in your group, if they believe in the mission of what you're doing, I mean, word of mouth is probably the best way people hear about it. Because when you're passionate and you're talking about something that you're passionate about, people really want to be involved in that. So I think when organizations realize that it's not just up to their marketing person to promote their organization, but it's really something for everybody to do, I think that's when groups really take off.
Looking to the year ahead, because every group is looking to take off, especially in the fall. There's that big push for recruitment, get off on a strong start, just kind of keep the momentum going throughout the year. Not that that's the only time we recruit. If you are a student watching, come join a group any time of year.
Yeah.
You can get involved whenever you want.
Exactly.
We'll make sure there's some kind of home for you with an involvement, even if it's not right at the beginning of the year. That said, the beginning of the year is probably the biggest recruitment push.
Yeah.
So they're all trying to get off on this big start. What's something that they can all do you think, through your office, through Common Marketing, that will make them successful to get off to a good start for the year?
I think if they come curious, like, why did you get involved with your organization to begin with? And you can answer that question, because when students are marketing, they already know things about it, because by that time they've gotten into an executive position and now they're tasked with marketing. But like being able to say, like, you know everything about this organization. Now I need you to go back to when you were at the very beginning. What was it that caught your attention? What was it that really stood out to you? So I think if you can maintain that kind of curiosity about how Auburn students are thinking and how your potential new members are thinking, I think then you can set yourself up for success, because you're meeting them where they are and you're bringing them in.
You think about stuff that catches people's eye, too, because I remember my first day on campus my freshman year. I came here wanting to get involved in student media, but still the first day of college, like I was that college student who like literally like held the map and like walked the map to go to my class, because I was that person, which not great. But like, so like my head was like down. I was like, it's like Joey from Friends. I was like in the map in London. Like that was me when I started college, because one of my classes got changed like to a different building the first day. And I was like, I don't know what that building is. So I was like walking through the map, and I look up and I see a camera set up on a tripod on the concourse, and it was the TV station recruiting new members.
I love that.
And like, if they were just out there, that's great. But like, they had something that catches your eye too. So like, I was like, oh yeah, I want to get involved in that. Ended up being a little late to my class. I don't suggest that to people. Try to be on time to your classes,
especially the first day.
And I'm never late. But you know what? Given the amount of student media, or given the role student media has played in my life, that's like the best like late to class I've ever been. That said, be on time to class. Talk to the people after class.
Yeah, go back.
They'll still be there.
They're typically going to be there.
They'll still be there. But I saw like that caught my eye.
Yeah.
So like, I think if every group thinks like, how are we going to catch people's eye and not just have a person standing there?
Yeah.
I think, and we have like banner polls you can use and signage and social media ads. There's so much you can do through your office.
Different things that you can do. And so student involvement's a little different. So me being new, acronyms are not my favorite thing in the world. But so there's the organizations that are kind of run through student involvement, and then there's the registered student orgs. And so registered student organizations don't necessarily have all of the resources that, say, SGA has, because they're housed in student involvement.
Sure.
But we do make it a point to put out resources for registered student orgs who have questions about marketing. And it's all on our website. And there's things from content calendars to how you should post, when you should post on social media, how to get involved, how do you get out on the concourse, how do you get a banner. If you have a question, we're going to answer it. So.
All right. So there are plenty of students that come to Auburn wanting to get involved in communications and marketing in some form or fashion. There's majors that tie into that. There's all kinds of skills through our offices, through majors. What is your best advice to current students who want to do what you do for a living after college?
Like marketing in general, or like marketing in higher ed? It's very different. Very different.
Say both.
Okay. So I think regardless across the board, if you get involved in some kind of way in the field that you want to do, it's going to help you. So whether that's an internship, whether that's volunteer hours, whether that's a position within an organization that you're getting a part of, if you can gain real world experience in a learning environment, it's good on so many levels, because one, you're helping out something you're passionate about, but also you're gaining that real world experience that then can go on your resume that you can then use when you're getting a job. Everything needs to be marketed. All kinds of companies, any type of product or service. If you're trying to be a lucrative company, you need marketing.
Yep.
And some people don't spend enough time, energy, or money on it. And then that shows later on. But I think the best way to get into communications and get into marketing is giving yourself experiences that you can then relate to when applying for a job. Marketing and communications is very tough. There's a lot of jobs, but there are a lot of people who want to do it, and there's a lot of people who have the skills to do it. So if you can set yourself up and you can give yourself experience on the back end or the front end, really, it's going to set you up for success in the future.
It also strikes me that it's one of those fields that like there is no answer key.
Yeah.
Like in engineering, like if you follow the formula, it's going to be right. Like the bridge is going to hold.
Yep.
But in content marketing, there's no formula. There's no answer key. So it's all kind of from your creative brain, which can be a challenge. So I would imagine some of the advice too would be if you want to do that, make sure you're getting involved as a common marketing person on campus too.
Yeah.
So you're building your resume, getting experience.
Absolutely. I mean, no matter what you're marketing, there's going to be a different audience for everything. So you need to learn, especially if you go into like a marketing firm where you're working for a variety of different companies, you need to be able to sell to a lot of different people and reach a lot of different people with a lot of different interests. So being able to do that on campus before you get there is always a good thing.
All right. So that's giving people an idea of kind of who you are, what you do. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I want to end with just giving some food for thought to
Okay.
people, especially if there are students who watch this. Let's give them some food for thought to think about. So we're going to have our last segment called Quote Me on That, where we are each going to share a quote that we like. It can be meaningful, it can be funny, it can be thought-provoking, it can be all of the above if you want. I'll go first to give you a little bit of time to think.
Excellent.
But mine, I'm going to start with one of my favorite professors in college. It was Rick Smith, who teaches in common journalism.
Yes.
He was my advisor at Eagle Eye. I had a bunch of classes with him in college. He still teaches here. Take a class with Rick Smith if you can. He's, I think, the best teacher on campus.
You hear his voice and you don't even know it's his voice.
He is the PA announcer in Jordan-Hare Stadium for football and has
it's
done
amazing.
many of SEC championship games. And there could not be a more humble, wise person on this campus than Rick Smith. I still talk to him today when I need like, hey, Rick, what do I do? And
the first time I met him in person, I just like stared at him for a good 3 minutes because I was like, why do I know you?
And nothing will make Rick more uncomfortable than attention.
I know.
Yeah.
He's so nice.
But he said in class one day, we were talking about social media, and he just said, I just have to say, don't compare your life to everyone else's highlight reel. And I think that's something a lot of people struggle with social media. They see like at some point, people are going on vacation, and you also go on vacation at some point.
Yeah.
But if you just look at social media, it feels like everyone but you is on vacation at all times because you're only seeing people's highlight reel. People don't go home and post to social media when it's like, hey, did nothing tonight, laid on the couch and watched TV.
Yep.
That's not something people are posting, although
Nope.
everyone has those nights. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of those nights.
Love those nights.
But you're only seeing the highlight reels. And I think especially students sometimes, and not just students, adults too,
Yeah.
forget that they're only seeing highlight reels on social media. And I think that has played a role in people's mental health and like where they are in their life versus where they think everybody else is. So that's always stuck in my head that he said that in class.
I love that.
And I think about it all the time whenever I look at social media.
That's awesome.
So
Wise words
Quote
from
me
a
on
wise man.
I could say quote me on that, quote Rick on that, I guess.
So I don't watch The Office, and this is not my quote, but I feel like there's like, what's his name? Michael Scott.
Michael Scott.
He quotes Wayne Gretzky, but then writes it out as like his quote.
Yep.
Have you seen that picture
Yep.
or that meme?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of when you say that.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the one.
Yep.
Found it.
Found it. Is that your quote?
No.
Oh.
I mean, sure.
Bonus quote.
Bonus quote.
So what's your quote?
I'm going to go back to that, show that I apparently don't know anything about, How I Met Your Mother. Okay. The one that I quote the most when I used to be a night owl, nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
That's a good one. And a great episode.
And a great episode.
Why does that kind of speak to you?
It's one of those things where the later it gets in the night, the more tired you get. Decision making is not that smart. So I don't know if it's just from, I don't think I've had personal experiences where it's been like nothing good happens after 2 a.m. and I'm talking about myself. I think it's just, you think about it and it's true.
Yeah.
What happens after 2 a.m. that's good?
So like Ted Mosby's mother told him in How I Met Your Mother, kids, at 2 a.m, just go home and go to bed.
Exactly.
Yep. And quote you on that.
And quote me on that.
All right. Amy, thanks so much for joining me and being my guinea pig for the first episode of Access Involvement. Also, thank you to Weagle for letting us record it in the Bradley Baisden studio. We always appreciate that. But anyway, now we know a little bit more about you. We know a little bit more about common marketing and student involvement. And I'm your host, Billy Ferris. Tune in next time. This has been Access Involvement, where discovering your path is as easy as solving a Rubik's Cube, all painted one color.